Okay, ladies and gents, we're back here at this location, of course, and today's the day. Sorry I didn't get to these earlier, but I was waiting because I like to do these every once in a while. Well, I've been every year I try to do it, but I just grab not just my votes for who I think will win, but also the votes of a few other random people. So we've got 5 people in total voting here on the Oscars today, and I'm one of them, of course. And these are going to be, of course, my final predictions. So, of course, the show is tonight. I'm recording this just a few hours actually before the ceremony, but we'll go ahead and get this uploaded, and it'll be up in time, of course. And I will be doing live reactions tonight. I'll get that edited and hopefully up by a day or two after the Oscars. We'll just see how busy everything is, but. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun show tonight. Well, number one, Jimmy Kimmel is coming back as host. He did a great job last year, of course. Hopefully, he'll continue that string because this is the first repeat host we've had since I can't remember if it was Billy Crystal or Whoopi that did it one year and then the next. Actually, no, Whoopi alternated a lot. I think Billy Crystal was the last one we really had, back-to-back years with, I think. And that's going back to the 90s, maybe. Yeah, because we had people like Jon Stewart and Ellen who hosted. Ellen, of course, hosted multiple times, but she had like a what was it, a 6 or 7 year gap or longer, I think actually. But anyways, and then of course we had like Franco and Anne Hathaway. We all know how that went. So yeah, this is the first time we had a repeat host in a while. So yeah, I'm sure he'll have a lot of great jokes about all the outings this year and all the Harvey Weinstein jokes, Kevin Spacey jokes, and Charlie Rose jokes, whoever else they'll get to, and those are always fun. But anyways, also I think for the best picture race, we're really getting down to some really complicated. Complicated options this year, where I think it's going to be either Three Billboards, Shape of Water, or Get Out. Not necessarily in that order, though. I think Get Out actually has the upper hand now over Shape of Water. We had the Independent Spirit Awards last night. Now, I was thinking about this, and I told this to one other person. I said, if Get Out does very well at Indie Spirits, like it has a near sweep or something like that, then I was going to change my vote over to Get Out. But it did win Best Director and Best Film, but didn't win Screenplay. I think it was up for Actor. Didn't win that. Was up for editing, I think, maybe, if I'm remembering right. So it lost a couple that it really should have had, especially Lady Bird winning Best Screenplay. I think if Three Billboards was in that category, there might have been some debate there, and maybe Three Billboards could have won that too. But Three Billboards did win the 2 prizes it was up for, actress and supporting actor at Indie Spirits last night. So it looks like those have been set for a while. So I think no surprise there. Gary Oldman, that didn't qualify for Independence. So I forgot who did win Best Actor last night. Oh yeah, Timothée Chalamet. But yeah, I don't think he's got a prayer against Gary Oldman, who's won everything else. Um, and then supporting actress last night went to Allison Janney. So and Laurie Metcalf I think had the upper hand last night, but it was Allison who won. So I think with that, Allison Janney definitely has the Oscar. I think any last minute people who were still hoping for Laurie Metcalf, I think those hopes went out the window last night. Okay, so with that said, I've got my vote and 4 other people, so we have a total of 5 votes here as we go down the categories. And let's just start at the top and just work our way down. Okay, I'll tell you who has the most votes, if there's split votes or what, and then I'll say, of course, what my prediction is, and then, of course, any other possible winners. So for Best Picture, we had actually this was a 4-1. 4 people, including myself, voted for Three Billboards for Best Picture. One lone person voted for Phantom Thread, and I asked this one person, why Phantom Thread, and she said because it was the one that she said looked the most boring, and that usually wins. Good logic, I think, for most other years, but no, not this time. Yeah, like I said, I think this is Three Billboards now has become the front runner with most people's odds. Like Gold Derby, I think has them out front now. Not sure about IndieWire anymore. I think IndieWire, that one, Get Out maybe has the favorite odds there actually. Who else did I check? Vanity Fair, I think, has Get Out having more votes than Three Billboards at this point, but Shape of Water, I think, is actually in second place there. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm thinking, and I'm sticking with this too. I think I said it on the last episode there. I think I said if uh, if Get Out wins screenplay, that means it's way more likely to win Best Picture. If either that or Shape of Water. If Three Billboards wins original screenplay, then I think Three Billboards has Best Picture because I don't really see a scenario where Three Billboards wins screenplay, Get Out wins picture, and then that's it. Because it's like, yeah, we don't. That doesn't happen. Then again, nobody said Moonlight last year except for a couple very smart predictors out there. So it could be a weird year like that where Get Out wins Best Picture and nothing else, but I just don't think that's going to be the scenario. Spotlight at least took screenplay. Moonlight took screenplay and an acting award as well as Best Picture, even though they both lost Best Director. So it's yeah, and that's the thing too is if Get Out wins screenplay, that also opens up the door for Shape of Water to win Best Picture, which I think is a possibility still. Now I think the whole plagiarism thing against Guillermo del Toro, he is also a producer on the film. So that would mean if it did win Best Picture, that he would get an additional Oscar because I think everybody has him winning director at this point. So yeah, that would mean he gets two Oscars, and that's a possibility for sure. If Get Out wins picture and screenplay, that would be two Oscars for Jordan Peele, and if Three Billboards wins picture and screenplay, that would be two Oscars for Martin McDonagh. So I think no matter what, looks like Greta Gerwig's going to be left out unless by some miracle she wins screenplay or director. Definitely the former being the more likely. But at this rate, it looks like Greta's going to go home empty-handed. By my predictions, Jordan Peele's going to go home empty-handed, and yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's going to be down to the wire there to see who wins Best Picture. Now, on the other hand, though, if we do see like Shape of Water start to win stuff that it's not supposed to win, like cinematography, if it wins editing, or if it wins one of the sound categories, in addition to production design, directing, and score, if it wins any additional ones, that's I think when we can suspect that Shape of Water has Best Picture, and also Dunkirk. Now, I'm not predicting it. But if Dunkirk all of a sudden, I have it winning editing, I have it winning one of the sound categories. If it sweeps the sound categories, wins cinematography, wins original score, stuff like that, then all of a sudden we could see maybe Dunkirk also has a slight edge, and that could come in and win Best Picture. It'd be the first time that we have a non-acting, non-screenplay win in a long time. Because you look at it like Lord of the Rings didn't have any acting nominations, and Slumdog Millionaire did not have any action or any acting nominations, but they both won picture and screenplay as well as director. And Christopher Nolan, I don't think he's got director. No, he hasn't won anything, and Del Toro's just swept him. So with that said, I'm thinking that could be a really weird. I'm trying to think because Sound of Music had acting nominations that didn't have screenplay. Um, Gosh, I don't know the last one to win without acting or screenplay. I mean, Grand Hotel obviously is one, but I think there had to have been one after that somewhere. But it's not popping out to me, not at this rate. So that could be a very historic win for Dunkirk in that case, and definitely a from behind win for sure. Okay, so that's enough on picture. Let's go to director. Yeah, I think everybody has Guillermo del Toro, but in this little vote we did, I was the only one. Instead, we had two people say that Jordan Peele will win for Get Out, and two people say that it would be Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. Yeah, I don't think so. No. All right. Best actor, Gary Oldman. I think he's got this in the bag. He won the vote here with 3 votes. 2 people went with Denzel Washington. And interesting enough, though, when you look at Denzel's history at the Academy Awards, he was nominated for Cry Freedom, and that was in a category that historically many people have gone back now and said he should have won for that instead of Glory. When you had what's his name from Do the Right Thing nominated there, but he won that next year for Glory, and then of course there was Training Day that he won for. And his previous nomination, The Hurricane, was another one that historically people have gone back and said he maybe should have won for that. And last year, a lot of people, including myself, said he should have won for Fences, and now he's nominated again this next year. So that would be a weird string to where he suddenly gets his 3rd Oscar, but I think Gary Oldman just has too much heat on him, I think. Okay, for Best Actress, I think Frances McDormand has this one sealed up, and she won the vote here with 4 votes. One lone person went with Meryl Streep. Uh, and again, the reasoning on that was because The Post looked like a boring movie, and Meryl Streep is always nominated. So, yeah. All right, supporting actor. This one in our little vote here actually was very, very divisive. 2 people went with Sam Rockwell, 1 person for Christopher Plummer, 1 person for Woody Harrelson, and 1 person for Richard Jenkins. So Willem Dafoe looks like he might as well not even bother showing up, I guess. But anyways, yeah, I think this is Sam Rockwell's. He's got it. Supporting actress, the popular vote was for Allison Janney for I, Tonya. I think she's got the win too. She had 3 votes. Laurie Metcalf had 1 vote. 1 vote for Octavia Spencer, which is very interesting. But yeah. Original screenplay. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one tonight too. Um, it could be Get Out. It could be Three Billboards. There's an outside shot for Lady Bird. If Shape of Water does a total sweep, then that could also pick up screenplay. It's not likely, but it could. So with that, the vote was again very divided here. 2 votes for The Big Sick, 2 votes for Three Billboards, and 1 vote for The Shape of Water. So interesting enough, I had a couple people on the vote here say they really like Lady Bird, and so okay, so they give it to I think one of the people gave it to Laurie Metcalf, and then also said that Greta Gerwig would win director, but they didn't put it down for screenplay. Oddly enough. Anyway, so yeah, that's going to be a tough one at the Oscars here tonight. Adapted screenplay, I think this is a no-brainer. Call Me by Your Name. It won the popular vote with 4 votes. 1 person had The Disaster Artist down, which I think after the James Franco thing, yeah, that's not going to pan out. Okay, animated features up next. I think this is Coco. It's one of the biggest margins of on most odds, at least. I think you have to. It's over. It's like 60 to 1 odds. I think is the second choice, which I think is Loving Vincent at this rate by most odds. But anyways, Coco has the lead votes. Well, actually, no, it was kind of split here. 2 votes for Coco, 2 for The Boss Baby, and 1 for Ferdinand. So that's just with our little vote here, but I think Coco's got it. All right, cinematography was another kind of divisive category here a little bit. I think it's Blade Runner. I think it's Roger Deakins, even though they don't put on the final voting ballots, they don't put the name of the contributor. I think there's enough of a buzz and enough word around Hollywood that this is Roger Deakins, and he's been up 13 times. This would be his 14th loss if he doesn't win tonight. So, which would be too bad because, I mean, look at a career like that. I mean, most cinematographers out there would kill to have maybe 2 of his films on their resume. But anyways, and he's won BAFTA. He's won the Cinematographer's Award for the Guilds. He won the Critics' Choice. Yeah, I think he's won everything he could, and and to my knowledge, I don't think he's ever swept it like that before and then lost the Oscar. To my knowledge, I think there was always another person or another movie that could take him down. But to my knowledge, I don't think since Critics' Choice have had that cinematography award, since we've had BAFTA with the cinematography award and so on, I don't think there's been a case where Deakins has lost after winning those. This technically, yes, would be the first time. Yeah, but if anybody's going to take him down, I think the other 2 films that were down here in our little vote would be the ones to do it. Dunkirk actually had the lead here with 3 votes. The Shape of Water had 1. Now, yeah, I've been talking about this a little bit here, but there's this weird connection between visual effects and cinematography that we've had, minus last year. Otherwise, it was the last 5 years, I believe. Or maybe even further back, because we had like Hurt Locker, Avatar, or not Hurt Locker, Avatar. We had what was the other one? I just mentioned it. Yeah, we went through these the other day. Hugo. We had not King's Speech. No, what was that? Inception was that year. Yeah. We had Life of Pi. We had Gravity. We had not The Revenant, but the one before that. Gosh, my memory's going to shit now. 2014. Birdman. No, that didn't work out either. No. Okay. But it was 2013, yeah, on down to 2009. I think it was like a 5-year string or 4-year string, whatever it was. So I think that's going to come back again this year with Blade Runner winning both of those. Film editing, 3 votes actually for I, Tonya on this one. 1 for Dunkirk and 1 for Baby Driver. Now for me, Dunkirk is my final prediction here, but I would not be shocked if Baby Driver won. And I think I, Tonya, if we're going to have a case where it's like the Bourne Ultimatum or or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which have been non-Best Picture nominees to win this category in previous years. If that's the case this year, I, Tonya wins it. And I, Tonya also did win the editing prize at the Indie Spirits Awards last night. Very well earned, I think, in that field, since we didn't have Baby Driver or Dunkirk or some of the other bigger studio films in that case. Otherwise, the other nominees in this category are Shape of Water and Three Billboards, which neither one of them, I think, are going to do it. But yeah, but they're worthy inclusions for sure. Now, yeah, I think Dunkirk is my final prediction here, but I think because another thing too, I think even though again they don't put the names on the ballot, you got Lee Smith is the editor here, and he's been overlooked for Inception, Dark Knight, amongst a few other ones there. So yeah, I think they'll give it to him. Costume design turned out to be one of our most divisive ones in the little vote here. We had 2 votes for Beauty and the Beast, 1 vote for Phantom Thread, that's my vote, 1 vote for Shape of Water, and 1 vote for Victoria and Abdul. I think this is Phantom Thread, even though it lost the Costume Designers Guild to Shape of Water. Shape of Water didn't totally stun across the board in the guilds. If it had, maybe then I would have been leaning on Shape of Water winning Best Picture amongst maybe a couple other ones. But it didn't win like the cinematography one. I don't think it was eligible for a couple of the other ones. It won the production design one, I think. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's Phantom Thread. Production design, another kind of divisive one here. 2 votes for Blade Runner, 2 votes for Dunkirk, and I'm the lone vote for Shape of Water, which I think has this one lined up. Original score, we had 3 votes for Shape of Water, which I think is the one that's going to win tonight. 1 vote for Dunkirk and 1 vote for Phantom Thread. Original song was a pretty mixed one here. I actually had 2 votes for Stand Up for Something from Marshall, which was the lead here. Otherwise, we had 1 vote for This Is Me from The Greatest Showman, 1 vote for Remember Me from Coco, that's my vote, and 1 vote for Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name. Yeah, I think, again, this is a coin flip one, but I think Coco has the advantage here with the animated feature win. And as I said, a lot of the Pixar or Disney films have won in the past for this. Makeup and hairstyling, we had 2 votes for Darkest Hour. 1 of those was mine. 2 votes for Wonder. 1 vote for Victoria and Abdul. So all 3 of them got on the board there. But I think it's Darkest Hour. That's another one that's very, very easy to tell. Sound editing, Dunkirk has the lead here with 3 votes. I'm one of them. Baby Driver had 1, and Shape of Water had 1. Now, yeah, I think if it's not Dunkirk, it's Baby Driver here, but I don't see Baby Driver sweeping editing and both the sound categories. I think, no, I don't think so. No, and I think Dunkirk is going to win 2 of those, but I have sound mixing going to Baby Driver. And actually, we had, let's see, I didn't finish my tally here on this. Okay, we had 1, 2, actually 4 votes for Baby Driver for sound mixing here, and only 1 vote for Dunkirk. So I'll just get that corrected here. Yeah, so actually Baby Driver is the very heavy favorite here in our little bracket, and Dunkirk only has 1. Now Dunkirk, I believe, by Gold Derby's odds, is in the lead there, but I think I'm taking the long shot on that one with Baby Driver. I think after it won editing it at BAFTA, it's been consistently supported here and there at the other awards. Like it tied for editing at Critics' Choice. It had a nomination at the Globes. So really everywhere except Screen Actors Guild, it had a representation somewhere. So I think it's one that will. I think it gets something tonight, and I'm putting it down for sound mixing. And plus, as I've said in previous years, when we have like Gravity or Mad Max, which do a sweep of these tech categories, I don't think Dunkirk is going to do it. And when we have a case like La La Land, which wins a couple of tech categories, then we have something like Hacksaw Ridge, which wins a couple, or Arrival, which won one of the sound categories. So yeah, I'm using that logic to support my argument there. Visual effects, we had 2 votes for Blade Runner, 2 votes for Guardians of the Galaxy, and 1 vote for Star Wars here. I think it's, again, I'm going with Blade Runner here. I know it's not the favorite. We've got a lot of people saying War for the Planet of the Apes. I was originally, too. I think that one should win. I haven't seen Blade Runner yet. But I'm going with Blade Runner on that one. Foreign language film, 2 votes for Fantastic Woman by our little bracket here. Loveless had 1 vote, The Insult had 1 vote, and The Square had 1 vote, so that one was pretty divided. I think it's Fantastic Woman. That's really the only one I've heard people make a big buzz about. The other ones, they're either too divisive or not enough people have seen them. So yeah. Doc feature, Faces Places won the popular vote here with 3 votes. I'm one of them. Abacus had 1 vote, and Strong Island had 1 vote. Icarus has been coming up here in the last few days, and some people have been voting for that. Now, for me, whenever I hear stuff like that, like I'm trying to think, in these short categories or doc categories or foreign language film categories, the ones that I'm less familiar with, whenever I hear last minute that all of a sudden everybody's going and jumping on this bandwagon, whenever I do, it doesn't win. And whenever I want to, don't end up doing it, then something else wins. And sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm not. But in this case, I'm sticking with Faces Places on this one. For animated short, I have Dear Basketball winning this. We had 2 votes for that one, 2 votes for Garden Party, 1 for Negative Space. Yeah, from what I hear, Kobe has been everywhere promoting the film. He went to the Academy Awards luncheon. I guess it was close to a month ago, and everybody reports. Everybody said everybody was getting to him and wanting to get a selfie or shake his hand or talk to him about the film or something. So that's one I think it's also been very widely seen, whereas the other 4 really haven't been. And I correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think any of these played in front of any of the Disney films this year, except is that right? No, I didn't see Coco. I didn't see Boss Baby or anything like that. So I don't think any of these shorts played in front of the film either. Sometimes that helps, like with what was the one with the Big Hero 6, the one with the dog in it, the hungry dog or whatever it was. That one I think benefited from that. But then again, we had something like Mr. Hublot win over the one that played in front of Frozen, which had all the old Mickey Mouse cartoons in it. So yeah, so sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. Documentary short, I have Edith and Eddie. That's the only one that really made a splash, from what I've heard. Traffic Stop had 2 votes in our little bracket and 1 vote for Knife Skills. From what I've heard, Knife Skills is the one. Some people have seen it and really liked it. The person behind this one has won before. I've heard a couple votes actually also for Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405, which I know was not a heavy favorite to get nominated. I put it in just because of the title. Evidently, that's the same logic for why they're voting for it. They're like, oh, look at that title. I'm sure that's a good one. So they just vote for it without seeing it. Anyways, and then also with that one, what was the other one I was looking at here? And I was like, oh, Heroin. Yes, Heroin as another one. All of a sudden, everybody's saying Heroin. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. Again, once I do, that's when it loses. So I'll stick with Edith and Eddie. And then live action short, DeKalb Elementary won the vote here with 3 votes. The Silent Child had 1. Watu Wate had 1. Yeah, DeKalb Elementary, especially now that we've had the Florida shooting and all that, it feels like it's a timely one for everybody who has seen the shorts. That's the one that more so than the doc shorts and the animated shorts. That's the one that everybody sticks out with and says that's going to win, and that they really like it, and that it's very timely, and yeah. So I think that's any chance, because the Silent Child is another one. People say in this category you always look for either the pet or the little kids, which has previously won, or sometimes the Holocaust, which is actually more popular with the documentary categories, but. I think with DeKalb Elementary being about school shooting and all that, I think that's the clear vote there. All right, so yeah, but actually, I heard one other thing too. Speaking of voting for stuff without seeing it, that's evidently a rumor now flying around with Best Picture, that there have been a number of people who have voted, and on their ballots they've put Get Out at number 1, number 2, or number 3 without having seen it. Now, I think that might have been the case last year with Moonlight. I mean, there's evidence for that. I mean, even though, sure, whenever Moonlight was nominated for something and they mentioned it in the crowd, there was huge applause and everything. So we know that those who saw it really, really liked it. But then again, I think, yeah, it was Kimmel made a joke in the monologue about Moonlight, and everybody was like, it had to do, because he said the only happy ending this year in a movie was the one in the middle of Moonlight. Of course, referring to, yeah, you know what. If you've seen the film, if not, okay, yeah, you can look it up. But there was only a couple scatters of applause and stuff, and only a couple laughs. So it's like everybody kind of got lost on that one. So it's like, I even had people at home at my house that were watching it that knew about Moonlight without having watched the whole thing, and they got it. So I don't know what happened there. So yeah, I mean it happens. We had a couple people got outed back the year of 12 Years a Slave of people who said, "Yeah, I just voted for it uh, because people told me to, and I didn't even watch it." So sometimes that's the case. Sometimes, and it doesn't always happen, but sometimes it's these racially driven films, from African American filmmakers or from those outside voices. Sometimes it happens. In the case of something like In the Heat of the Night, historically was over 50 years ago now. I think that one part of it was that it had won like the Globe for drama, and it had won a couple other awards here and there. And I think The Graduate also didn't have as much support maybe as people were thinking back then. But I think the shooting of MLK, which delayed the Oscars historically that year by I think a week or two, um, definitely was a big factor in that film winning Best Picture that year. But also, that's a great movie too. The same way I thought 12 Years a Slave was a great movie. So sometimes it just happens to land on it being a great movie when we hear all these outside voices saying, people voted for it without having seen it. And in this case, Get Out is another fabulous movie. And like I said many times this year, it's one that I originally did not really see as a big Oscar player. And wouldn't that be great if all of a sudden I'm dead wrong way early on, and it ends up being our Best Picture winner? And another thing too, it's a kind of a horror thriller kind of movie. Last time we had one of those win Best Picture, it was Silence of the Lambs, which also was released in February and had that staying power throughout the year. Get Out definitely had a lot of staying power this year. So it's going to be a close one when we get down to it. Anyways, one more thing too before we go. Of course, they had to bring back Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty for Best Picture this year. So I'm sure we're gonna have a very, very, very good joke about that at the Oscars this year too. Okay, well, that's all I've got for now. This is gonna be it until we get to the live show tonight. Yeah, depending on who wins what and what upsets we have, because I'm sure there'll be something. There's no way I'm gonna get 24 out of 24. It just doesn't happen. No, it's I don't think it's meant to happen. The same way we're getting close now to March Madness and that whole tournament. Nobody's ever gotten a perfect bracket on that, and I think there's always some curveball that gets thrown in there. So okay, that's going to be it for now. We're going to be done with this pretty within a few hours. This will all be done. We don't have to worry about Oscars again for another 5-6 months, close to that. So yeah, it's that's kind of the thing. It's always a big day. The day of the Oscars is always a frustrating day. It's always a fun day, but at the same time, you're always kind of like, well, it's kind of the end. It's kind of the wrapping up. Clean your locker out at the end of the semester feel, and it's it's going to be kind of glad to get rid of these, so I don't have to talk about this all the time. And then at the same time, it has been a great year for film. Call Me by Your Name was great. Dunkirk I liked. Get Out was really great. Lady Bird was fun. Can't say that about Phantom Thread. Can't say that about Post. Shape of Water was excellent. Three Billboards was my personal favorite of the year. So it's always good to see a good representation of films too. It's not just throwing in random stuff like Lion for me last year, which I absolutely did not understand why that got in. But anyways, so yeah, I think it's about time we wrap this up too. It's especially with the Olympics this year. That's why the Oscars are so late. But yeah. All right, guys. We'll have fun tonight. It'll be a fun night. Hopefully everybody has a good time. Good luck to everybody else with their final predictions. If you're on the fence on something, maybe flip a coin, or hopefully I've maybe given you a couple hints here and there. So yeah, let's end this thing with a bang. All right. It's all on you, Jimmy. It's all on you.